Hey Stampy friends, welcome to the Joy of Stamping Rachel. I'm Rachael Coon and it's our Fun Fold Friday. Today we're making a flower card using the Flowering Tulips stamp set and one of their dies. Go to Hold While I Flip and I'll show you and tell you all about how you can make this card too. All right, as always, be sure to comment. I love seeing your comments. In fact, one lucky person who comments during the noon to midnight time frame, even if you're watching the replay on my Facebook Live, has the chance to win today's card. Today's card is called a Interlocking buckle card, and let me show you how it works. So right here in the center, we have this awesome saying, and we have it so that it closes and locks together, but then we can open it by unlocking that to the beautiful inside of the card. And then we just close it back up and it locks it in place. Isn't it awesome? Great, great fun fold, and then we've embellished like crazy and have done some extra fun things. So let me show you how to make this and what we use to make it. All right, so I'm using the Flowering Tulips stamp set. I'm using this You Are So Thoughtful Thank You circle here. This one I love the font. Has a fancy font in the center and then more of a uppercase bold font going in that circle. Just love that one. We're also using some of the stem, the leaf, and these two flower punches here. Sorry, flower stamps here for our inside flower look. I'm also using the Tulip Dies. Let me show you those, or at least the one that we use for this card. So the Tulip Dies have all these great dies inside of them, and you should be sure to check out my other, I think it was my Wonderful Wednesday card that I made using these dies to show you how to build the tulips with that one. But this time all we're using is this awesome little border piece here to create our border along the bottom of this gatefold. So I can't wait to show you how to use that as well. All right. So for all the cards, my first 3 steps I give to you, number 1 is always cut, measure, and score your cardstock. So the cardstock we have today is our Mango Melody, and I have it at the 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 2 1/8, and then we flip it over and we score it again at 2 1/8. It's just easier sometimes to have them that same and just do the flip versus the 2 1/8, and I think it's like 7 and something would be the second one if we were to push it through. So to the 2 1/8, flip it, 2 1/8. So on both ends. Then for our pieces, we have our basic white for our inside, which we'll stamp on this piece here, and that's a 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have our 2 pieces of DSP, which is a beautiful paper, double-sided. It has these tulips all over it. And that's from the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. These measure at 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. All right, so after we've measured, cut, and scored our paper, then we need to do some die cutting. For this one, you need to make a locking mechanism. So what we are using are our circle layering dies. You need to cut out at least 2 of our basic white circles, and then you need to also cut out 2 of our evening evergreen, but it's what I call a frame. Let me show you what the dies would look like when you run them through. You're gonna do 2 circles at the same time, and I like to connect mine with washi tape. Washi tape is great because it's not super sticky, and I can run this through my die cutting machine and they'll stay together. That's one of my favorite tips for that one. The extra tip for this one is that you want to do it at the same time. So when I die cut my circles out to create this cool frame, I put it over it just like this, have my 2 pieces of paper and cut them out at the exact same time, so I know they're going to be just the same as far as the measurements go. Lastly, make sure you die cut 2 of your basic white Tulip Borders, and those are at 4 1/4, and you want to give yourselves at least 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches for that top room. And you want to have it on a flat edge on this one side, and it doesn't matter what's above it here. I usually just use a scrap of 4 1/4 by however I need, and then flip it and then trim as needed. All right, so those are our die cut images. Let's go ahead and do our stamping now, which is usually my next step. So we have our cutting, our die cutting, punching if needed, and then we stamp. I have my foam mat here. I'm gonna use this scrap of grid sheet that I have, which is what I like to do. I like to fold my grid sheets in half. You'll see like I've practiced on the inside of this one. And then I will use it again and again by just making it a smaller and smaller grid sheet, even though it's messy on one side. All right, let's go ahead and stamp the inside of our basic white. I'm using the Evening Evergreen as our stem and leaf colors. And what we're gonna do is do the stem first. On the stem, you'll see a more, let's see if I can get it so you see, there we go. More of a, I don't know how to, like a Y shape at the top of it, and then more of a circle shape at the bottom. That's how you'll know where the top and bottom of the stem is for this one. So I'm off screen, I'm inking right over here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and ink it up, and I'm gonna attach it to the bottom left spot of our basic white and press down and lift up. Awesome. Next, we're gonna grab our leaves. So I'm using the medium-sized leaf or the smaller of the two. There's 2 leaves that come in this set. We're gonna ink that up, and then we're gonna go to have it stamping just off, so it's not completely 100% on. We'll do one right there, and we're gonna turn it around, and I'll make it bend the other way and stamp it right there. Awesome. I'm going to put this color, actually we need to grab one of our circles, and let's go ahead and stamp our greeting on there. We'll ink that up in our Evening Evergreen as well. And lay it so it's flat and nice, and stamp right there in the center. Press and lift up. Awesome. All right, we'll set that one aside and grab now our Calypso Coral. The colors for this one's more of an orange look to it, and so this type of pink has more of an orange base. In fact, this is one of my favorite shades of pink, and it's not even that pink, it's more like an orangey pink. So it goes great with this card. For this piece here, what we need to do is grab first the bigger of our 2 flowers right there. We're going to ink it all up, and we're going to stamp it right there where that stem is. Make sure you have your foam mat underneath you still. And go just like that. Love it. Then we're going to take the second stamp for this one. Kind of looks like a heart. We're going to ink it up, and we're going to ink it off once. Inking it off means I'm just going to ink it on my grid paper or my scrap paper there, and then we can line it up into our stamp image over here. We're going to fill in those 2 spots perfectly. Ooh, that is just so pretty. Look at that. That's called 2-step stamping because I use 2 stamps to create that one look. All right, we are done stamping, so we'll put that away, and now we can start assembling. So what we need to do is grab our 2 of our circled frames and put glue on just one of them on the back side. And then we're going to flip this one over and match it. The reason why we're using 2 is because this paper needs to be a little bit more sturdy. Since we're going to be opening it and closing it, if we just have that one piece, it's fairly flimsy. So you're just making it a little bit stronger by having the 2. Then we're going to grab our stamped one and our non-stamped one. Just put adhesive on one of them and attach it as well. Same idea. We just want to make this circle stronger than it is all by itself. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next, let's grab our pieces of our card base. Grab your bone folder so we can start creasing this. Right there on that score. This is alone without this buckle is a gatefold. So you might recognize that from other cards we've made in the past. And they call it gatefold because it opens more like a gate versus our traditional way. All right, make sure that's nice and good. There we go. Let's go ahead and add our DSP and just a little bit of glue to the back. and attaching to our front. You want to create borders on all of the sides of this one when you attach it on. Smooth it out, make sure that glue is attaching, and grab your other piece and do the same thing to the other side. Okay, we're going to line it up from the bottom to the top, and I was eyeballing it to make sure that it's lining up with the piece that we already put on. Just like that. We want to make it look like they're together there. Awesome. Let's go ahead and put our basic white on the inside. And I like to use my Seal Plus or my regular Seal for basic white attaching. And I just put one in each corner and then one in the center. Let's go ahead and start on one side for this one and then press down. And that looks great. Awesome. All right, moment of truth. We're going to flip over our buckle, our circle buckle here, and we're only going to put adhesive on one side and only on half. So go with your liquid glue around to about half like there. And if you're worried about it attaching, you can go ahead and open this all the way up and make sure that our glue is not going onto the other side. Okay, there's our glue. We're going to set it right about center as much as we can and press it down. That needs to be able to grab for just a hot minute to make sure that it dries. So it's doing that. I will show you the next step. See, mine's a little more on this side, so I could squeeze it over if we wanted to, but it'll be okay. For our thank you, I want to switch this one up. So in my directions on my blog, I have it where you can either use liquid glue, which is what I did for this one, or use dimensionals. If you're using dimensionals, then you want to grab just maybe 2 of them, and we'll have it in that closed position. Then we're going to attach the dimensional through the circle onto the DSP, just like that. I want to give this one a little bit of pop and see how it works as far as our buckle locking goes. Then we need to match up our circle right through that frame we've created and press down on those dimensionals, and that should have locked it in place. Well, let's see if we, the moment of truth, we can open it back up. There we go. Awesome. And then we just put that circle back through to lock it again. I kind of like it with that dimension. I feel like I can put this banner behind here a little bit easier to lock. So just a preference of how you want to work for you. Let's go ahead and start doing our embellishing now. All right, so we have 2 of these banner pieces, and what we're gonna do is start with in the inside. I'm gonna put a little bit of adhesive on the very bottom of that white spot here. So just about maybe 1.5 inches in, and then I usually like to put like 1 little dot on that corner piece too. Line it up to the bottom edge of the gate of the inside. Just like that, to that where that score line is and where it's on the bottom. Awesome. Go and flip it over and create a bend. So no scorings needed. We're just folding it over, and that alone will create a nice crease on it. Then we'll go ahead and add the adhesive to this side. Do a little one on the top flower there, and then press it down and make sure it's lining up on the bottom of our card there. So it's flush to that edge. Super cute. Show how that looks. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side. Same idea. Put just a little bit of adhesive on the bottom, 1 on the dot right there, and let's attach this to the bottom of our gatefold, right where that score line meets. Flip it over, make sure our adhesive's sticking, and fold it. And just like that. If you missed any of my measurements, you can go ahead and click on the links to get you to my blog, and you'll find all the measurements and some more photos over there of these cards. Oh, I love it. Look how awesome that looks. Isn't it just a fun little detail to have that bordering edge both on the front and on the inside? All right, let's go ahead and close this up, and let's grab now our embellishments. We just need 3, and we are using the iridescent rhinestones. I like to do them in groups of 3 or in groups of odd. And I'm going to do 3 for this card. We're going to put one of our larger ones down here at to the left side. And then we're going to grab 2 more. Let's do a medium size, the top over here, and the smallest size we're going to put at an angle just below it, like that. Oh, so pretty. I love just that little bit of shine there and how awesome that fold is. All right, you guys, I hope you've had fun learning how to make this fun interlocking buckle fold. You might need to put a Post-it note on the back of it if you're sending it to someone who's never opened these before, so they just don't rip it open and can open it with ease. All right, you guys, hope you've enjoyed this. Have a great weekend and happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.